Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again, and welcome to The Roads with Belle. Today is January 25th, 2025, and this is episode 75 of The Roads Not Taken, which is a weekly series where we go over the news that was unreported, underreported, didn't get the coverage we felt that it should, or we just found it interesting. And then we go over a few questions from y'all. Today is January 25th, and it's International Environmental Education Day. And on this date, in 1887, construction of the Eiffel Tower began. It was constructed for the 1889 World's Fair and was meant to be temporary. The iconic structure of France was supposed to only be there 20 years. And starting with foreign policy. The Trump administration has reportedly frozen all foreign aid, except for aid to Israel, Egypt, and some emergency food aid. It also looks like U.S. agencies have to stop publishing foreign aid proposals. U.S. officials are trying to get Ukraine on the list too. Ukraine used a massive drone attack and struck a Russian oil refinery. Russia has reportedly rejected a proposal involving NATO peacekeepers in Ukraine. Trump continued his process of pushing away longtime allies during a phone call with officials from Denmark. They described him as aggressive and confrontational. China warned U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio to act accordingly, using phrasing that is most often used to scold a child. The ICC is reportedly proposing arrest warrants for top members of the Taliban over their treatment of women. The number of North Korean troops who have been lost in combat in Ukraine is now estimated between 500 and 1,000. North Korea's government is considering sending more troops. Mexico has reportedly refused to accept one of Trump's deportation flights. In U.S. news, Vice President J.D. Vance had to cast a tie-breaking vote to confirm the new Secretary of Defense. The Democratic Party leader in the House has indicated the Dems will not play along with efforts to politicize disaster aid. Reports say banks are getting ready to sell billions in debt borrowed by Elon Musk for the X deal. Reports say the banks will be selling the debt for 90 to 95 cents on the dollar. Doge appears to be adding to its mission, or changing it altogether, into an IT branch. It has a new portfolio, a software modernization initiative. We'll see what that means. The Minnesota Supreme Court has sided with the Democratic Farmer Labor Party in the dispute over the quorum in the House. The Supreme Court has agreed to hear a case out of Oklahoma that will shape the future of the separation of church and state in this country. It revolves around a charter school and state funding. This is just something to put on your radar. At least two of the people Trump pardoned for January 6th are attempting to refuse the pardons, saying they don't want to help pretend like it didn't happen. In cultural news, the AP is saying it will not be calling the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. Some of the Kennedy family is opposed to the manner in which Trump is releasing the documents, saying JFK is being used as a prop. In science news, the world's largest iceberg is reportedly on a collision course with an island. It could potentially harm penguins and seals. In economic news, Trump said he will demand interest rates be dropped. If that is done prematurely, it will reignite inflation. Egg prices are higher than they've ever been so far. They will likely go up as bird flu continues to harm egg-laying chickens. Home sales hit lows not seen since the 90s. In oddities, sales of hats styled like the red MAGA hat are booming in Canada. They say Canada is not for sale. A new asteroid was identified. Then, it turned out to be the car Elon Musk launched into space. Okay, on to the Q&A. In a recent therapy session, I've brought up the state of the country in regard to the Trump presidency. Much to my dismay, I have come to find out that my therapist believes a whole slew of conspiracy theories regarding January 6, 2021, and many others. She's otherwise been a good therapist. Do I drop her? I don't think believing conspiracy theories makes a person bad. I believed a conspiracy theory about President Kennedy's assassination most of my life until recently. Then I discovered it wasn't based on facts. I believe my therapist gets a lot of her information from X. The thing is, I can't help but question her judgment. Then I wonder, how can she guide me if her judgment is in question? I don't know enough about the situation to provide specific advice, but I would imagine trust is important in a relationship between you and your therapist. So what you really need to answer for yourself is whether your trust in her judgment is damaged to the point that it impedes in your therapy. Why did some California Democrats say they were open to Trump's FEMA plans? Because it would be better for their state. They have the economy to deal with it, and then they wouldn't have to contribute to pay for red states. So you're going to see a lot of people in poor red states susceptible to hurricanes argue in favor of a policy that will hurt them. And then you'll see some Dems in blue states support it because it'll help them. You are wrong when you say that Trump is the first female president of the United States. Trump is not female. Carefully read the executive order, and I think you will agree. Trump's body does not produce the large reproductive cell, nor has it ever. Trump is obviously non-binary. The single cell at conception did not produce either reproductive cell. Since that is the definition, it is neither male nor female, which is a non-binary definition. Trump is the first non-binary president of the United States. That's a sound argument. You're optimistic that we'll still have democracy in 2026 and 2028. What I would like to know is, why do you think that? Okay, we've got this one a lot this week. First, you don't surrender in advance. Constantly saying there won't be elections will lead people to accepting that as a possibility. And second, Trump is being the Trumpiest Trump he can. I mean, he is moving pretty quickly. It will not be long until people start feeling the effects of his economic policies. And at that point, I don't think we'll have to worry about him having popular support to stay in office illegally. Okay, so that looks like it. A little more information, a little more context, and having the right information will make all the difference. Y'all have a good day.